Chapter 2 of Bill and Doreen's Married Life from Doreen by Clarence James Dennis. Recording by Son of the Exiles. Logic and Spotted Dog. "Unless you hide that axe," she says, "he'll hurt himself real bad. And after all, now, Bill, don't cry the trouble that I've had. With him through croup and whoopin' cough, he goes and cuts himself. Why don't you hang it on the wall, or hide it on a shelf? But there it was, just thrown about. You ought to take more care. You left it there." "You left it there," she says, "and now," I says, "hold on a jiff. Let's get the facts all sorted out before we has a tiff. I'm mighty careful with that axe, and never leaves it out, and I'd be mad if that young imp got knockin' it about. Ole axe," she says, "look at his thumb, a precious lot you care. You left it there." I am married to a woman, which is natural and right. I says that over to meself for safety, day and night. Most times I says it fond and proud, with gladness in me mind. But sometimes, philosophic like, and what you'd call resigned, "An axe as sharp as that," she says, "it really isn't fair. You left it there. The way you pet that axe," she says, "the way it's ground and filed, the way you fairly fondle it, you'd think it was a child. And when I pick the old thing up to cut a bit of string, you rave and shout. 'Wait on,' I says, 'but iron's a different thing. And you was choppin' fencin' wire,' she says. 'Well, I don't care. You left it there.' I helps meself to Spotted Dog and chews and thinks a while. 'I'm really sorry,' I begins. Then, as I seen her smile, I plays her for the fun of it, and says, but all the same, if he gets foolin' with that axe, he's got himself to blame. Her eyes spark up. "A child like that! Now, Bill, it isn't fair. You left it there." I cuts another slice and says, "This Spotted Dog's a treat. Of course, whoever left it there," I says, "was indiscreet." "Careless," she says, "you know you are. He might have cut his face. An axe as sharp as that," she says, "should be kept in its place." "Quite right," I says. "And not," she says, "just throwin' round anywhere. You left it there." And then I lets her have it, and I says, "Now think a bit. I put that axe away last night, when all the wood was split." "Well, that's enough about it now," she says. I seen her wince, and says, "I put that axe away, and haven't used it since. But someone else was usin' it this mornin', I can swear, and left it there." "Well, never mind poor Bill," she says. "Was his poor thumb all hurt?" "Oh, it's entertainin' sometimes for to argue with a skirt." "There's someone else," I says, and grins and kids I'm doin' fine. "Was usin' it this mornin' for to cut a bit of pine. So now," I says, "apologise. I've beat you fair and square. You left it there." For 'arf a mo she pets young Bill and wouldn't meet me eye. Thinkin' she was, I knew she was, and then she lets it fly. "If you had cut that wood," she says, "as I implored you to, there wouldn't be no need for me to have such things to do. It ain't right for a woman." "'Ere," I says, "now, I don't care. 'Oo left it there?" "Of course you don't," she gets me back. "You never care a bit. An' it ain't right for a woman to 'ave kindlin' wood to split. While there's a man about the 'ouse." I sees the tears is near, and pats her hair. "Now let it drop," I says. "Don't worry, dear." "How can I let it drop?" she sobs. "You said you didn't care. 'Oo left it there?" "I do," I yells. "I mean, I don't. Oh, God spare me days. When you argue with a woman, She has got you either ways. You have to do it in the end, an' so I licks the dirt An' says, "Dear, I apologise. I'm sorry if I hurt. Yes, I'm married to a woman, an' she smiles an' strokes me hair, an' leaves it there." Chapter 2 Recording by Son of the Exiles